see how crazy I look coming out from school? Last week, the students had a really hard time transitioning and just being on task. So my teacher and I were thinking of solutions, and this is what we came up with. It is a reward system where if we catch them showing us that they're ready to learn, or if they're on task when they're supposed to be, they get to peel it off. Eventually, they'll figure out what the prize is, which is an extra 15 minutes of recess. It is not a very good day for me. The sickness is making me feel extremely tired. I don't have the energy to constantly remind them to be on task. And with this class, one student will start talking and then another one will join in and then another one thinks it's okay. But luckily, it's only one table of students who's doing that right now. Maybe after they earn one sticky note off of that poster, they'll gain momentum. I have had a headache all day and there's so much that I need to do right now. I need to confirm my lesson plan for observation 1. I need to create materials for observation 1. I have a math lesson to do tomorrow that I haven't really looked at yet. I only thought of ways to get them engaged, but I haven't thought of all the steps like guided practice and independent practice. Cohort seminars also start this week, so I need to prepare for that. It is a lot. This is the outcome for today. They got ready to learn and on task, and I even let them sign it and put it up there. I now have a general idea of what I'm teaching tomorrow, but I do not have a hardcore schedule like I did during PCE, where I was very crazy about the minutes. But you know what? It's okay because my host teacher is very lenient and I gotta practice without it anyways. We are also going to play a game called Scoot, where they are going to sit in their seat, answer a question for 1 minute, and then scoot to the next seat and answer another one, and just go around and around until they answer as many as they can within that time frame that they're given. It is 6:40 a.m. and I lost my jacket somewhere. Oh my gosh, I have checked the path that we walk and I have checked my car and it's nowhere to be found. I found it! With my teacher's help, of course. This is where the OCD kicks in and I want straight lines everywhere. I had to fold it. I'm done with my lesson. I got it recorded to check if my video and audio were working well because I have to post it somewhere for evaluation. I had to go over all those different multiplication models, and this was a new one to them. I just don't think I spent enough time on the partial products, so a lot of them did it the old school way, which is what we're trying to avoid. But luckily for their Scoot game, I have their work so I can just see and check who needs extra support. So much progress today. They did 2 times better than how they did yesterday. And they are figuring out that this is 15, but what they're not getting is that the real prize is down here. It's only been 20 minutes and I already finished my lunch. I got this big old lesson plan made for observation 1. It's going to be on similes, so I gotta make 2 anchor charts for my lesson. When I was little, every time I went to Target, the first aisle I would be in is the supply aisle. And even though all my cabinets were filled with markers, pens, Sharpies, erasers, Post-its, a bunch of school supplies that I never really needed, but it made me feel safer to have just in case of emergencies, where I would need it or where a classmate would need it. I really loved the idea of making stuff for your classroom. The only problem is that I always want everything to look perfect. So even these numbers right here, it bothers me because I had to write it out during the lesson and it doesn't look the way I want it to. But over time, that's just something that I have to get over. Another day of making an anchor chart. I honestly love how bright this room is because I wake up super early and sometimes I don't feel my best self, especially this week. This week has been really hard for me. I was gonna make this pink. 7:35, the principal needs help passing out leis since it's Hawaiian Day. So I'm gonna go over there, help out, and finish this anchor chart later. Today I taught a continuation of partial products with 3-digit numbers, and it was so successful because I incentivized them with another math game at the very end. They really love this game. It's called Around the World. How it goes is that the students will sit around in a circle. One of them will compete against one and see who can answer the question quickly and accurately. If they win, they get to scoot on over to the next student and compete with them. And if they don't make it in time, then they get to stay in their spot. But even while the 2 students are competing, I'm still having everyone in the circle do the same problem. And to make it even more productive, I had a competition on one side of the circle and a competition on the other side of the circle. But I'm so glad that they like it because it makes them focus and learn during the lesson so that they can get better at the game. At the end of the day, these kids are always losing all types of control and all types of respect. Me and my host teacher literally look at each other like we're screaming for help. For their whole classroom reward system too, they got 0 post-its off. Today's after-school plan, since it's minimum day, there's going to be a staff meeting, and then at 6 p.m. I have my first cohort seminar, and that'll be going on for the next 12 weeks. You see how crazy I look coming out from school? That's so much stuff to carry. After school, my teacher and I were talking about some of the problems that we're having between students. So we have a common corner, and we have a lot of dysregulated students who are always insisting that they really need that spot, and they really do need strategies to recollect themselves. But this common corner has become a fight to the death in this class. We have one student who acts like that spot is all his, and when another student needs that spot, the student who has to give up the spot because they've been there for 2 hours thinks that my host teacher is being unfair. So I don't know. I think we're trying to have someone come in to talk about how to properly use the common corner so we can lessen the amount of drama that happens within this class.
Because you folks are...
I'm starting to realize how much work is getting piled onto me, so I'm spending every moment I can to get all the stuff we need done for WGU. It's so hard for me to come home and continue working on schoolwork after a long day of just being in the classroom. I also wrote every single thing I needed to do to pass demonstration teaching. Usually when I break it down like this, it motivates me a little more because I get to check it off and see my progression. There's so many boxes that aren't checked off yet though. Good news though. There's this one kid who absolutely does nothing throughout the day, every single day. Seems like he's kind of in his own head. They have a math town activity where they're building their own town given math equations, and I'm actually getting him to do some work. I just made it a story for him and made him laugh so much that he's actually doing it. He was even focusing on his diagnostic assessment so that we can continue this.
I have a question.
Sure.
The students did so well, even though it was a Friday. I was fully expecting them to have way too much energy. They had a lot of independent work today, like testing and individual or group reading activities during the reading block. The day just went by so smoothly, and I'm super excited for the weekend. It was a very nice break from this whole week. During PE, I hopped around and played 4 squares, handball, and tetherball, and my shoulder is going to be so sore tomorrow because this one kid who plays baseball and football was going really hard, and I did not want to lose to him. Also, some of the kids went to the garden and picked me a bag of tomatoes and some flowers that I left in my little mushroom pot. During Fun Friday, this girl that I haven't had a chance to really talk to yet wanted me to do some go noodle dances with her. And while the kids were leaving, some of them were screaming bye to me. It makes me really sad to think that I'm going to leave them in February. I feel really lucky to have found a profession that I can wake up to and look forward to. Those kids are everything. I'm literally always thinking about them and thinking about our interactions and thinking about what I can do better for them. I've worked a couple jobs in education. I was an avid tutor for 3 years, a behavior technician for 2 years, and a substitute teacher here and there. But student teaching with these kids and in this class makes me feel like I'm in the right place. And even though there's a bunch of moments where I feel like my brain's going to explode, all the little positive moments make you forget the bad days. I'm going to have a very wonderful weekend, but I can't wait to see my students on Monday.